Welcome back to That's It. So I want to keep you guys updated on regarding Sudiksha Konanki. Please don't come after me. I'm doing the best I can to pronounce her name. So I wanted to give you the latest updates about her. So as you know, they still haven't found her body. Her body is still missing. The Dominican Republic is doing the bare minimum. No one's not talking about this case except for the mainstream media. Obviously, they're not talking about it here in the States. But I can tell you this, since this whole news broke, I just felt this pit in my stomach that, this girl is still alive, that she is not dead. And I'm going to keep saying this because she's still alive. Unless they report that she's unalive, she's still alive. I cannot sleep. All I can do is just think about this poor girl, that she's out there somewhere trying to escape where she's at, trying to survive. And just to hear, she probably hearing this, that her parents pronounced her dead, that she drowned. It's probably heartbreaking, you know what I mean, when it's a possibility that's not true. And it's really upsetting to me that the authorities will tell the parents to give a statement, to write a letter saying that they came to the conclusion, they're accepting that their daughter drowned, which is a messed up power play on a Dominican Republic part. Okay, because they want this to go away. They don't want this case or this story to keep going and for people to keep talking about it. So they're just doing the bare minimum, you guys, to keep this story um, not being talked about. But we're going to keep talking about it because this girl is still alive. And I was like figuring out what can I do? What can I do to this keep this story alive? To get some help from people, from someone that's more equipped to this, like an investigator. And then one person from my YouTube channel commented that you should start a GoFundMe, and that's great. And I want to do that. And then I reached out to T.J. Ward, and if you don't know who T.J. Ward is, he's an investigator who did who investigated with Natalee Hollowell what happened to her in Aruba, and he's well known. Have his legal team, have his firm, have people backing him up, have people working for him, to do like an investigation. And I called him, and I didn't even know that I was going to speak to him directly, but it was him who picked up the phone. I thought it was going to be his secretary or someone, but it was actually him, which I was so amazed. And I told him who I was, that I've been following this case of Konanki from the beginning, since she was been missing on March 6th, and we still need to talk about this. I told TJ, Mr. Ward, that she's still alive. I believe that she's still alive. I believe that she was taken. She's sex trafficking, and we need to do more. We need to do more about it. And he absolutely agreed with me when we spoke over the phone today, actually. And he even told me he doesn't understand why the parents are declaring her dead. Why the parents just giving up? Because he wants to investigate. But according to Mr. Ward, he can't do anything because he needs to speak to the parents. The parents have to say that their child is still alive in order for Mr. Ward to do his investigation, for him to go to the Dominican Republic. And he has an attorney, he knows an attorney, pardon me, from Dominican Republic that's ready to, take this case full forward. But in order to do that, they're trying to talk to the parents. They're trying to convince the parents that, change your statement. Do not say that do not declare that your daughter is dead, that she drowned. And he can't understand why the parents would do that. And I even told him that, like, it's just so unfathomable to me that the parents would just give up like that and declare their daughter dead. And I even said to Mr. Ward that I believe that the police authorities or someone is saying something, told him something to say that, listen, your daughter drowned. We found her slipper, her bathing suit, shawl on the beach, her sandals. She probably drowned and come back, but it's all bullshit, to be honest with you. It's all BS, because if she did drown, her body would be on surface. You know what I mean? Not surface, but her body would appear. That's what I'm trying to say. Her body would appear. But how long has it been? It's March 31st, started the beginning of April 1st, and her body still have not been found. Okay? They didn't do a ransom. They didn't do anything of that. And I guarantee you guys, if they would have done a ransom from the beginning and then they kept focusing on Joshua, I guarantee you someone would have said something. Someone would have said they know, they saw her, or they have her, whatever. But they didn't even do that. They didn't do a ransom. They didn't investigate to interview other people who were at the bar. They just was focused on Joshua, which I understand because he was the last person to see her and he was a person of interest. However, you got everyone's a suspect. They didn't interview the friends. They didn't interview the bartender. They didn't interview the staff. They didn't interview those two mysterious men at the bar. Where was the security? Nothing. Nothing like that. And it's very, very disturbing. And that's what I told Mr. Ward. And we all have to like get together and try. I don't know what we can do to try to convince the parents, to tell them that their daughter is still alive. She's still out there. Can you imagine Kanishi's watching and hearing that her parents saying that they declare her dead when she's actually alive? And I just feel like the parents are just giving up when they shouldn't be giving up. They should be, having hope that their daughter is still out there in the Dominican Republic and alive somewhere. Unless there's a body, she's still alive. And I told Mr. Ward, if there's anything that you need me to do, I am willing to do it. I'm willing to say what I need to say. We just need to keep this story alive, you guys, because this is just unjust. And the government from Dominican Republic, they know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to cover this up. They're trying to have this case closed because they want their money. They want their tourists to come. They don't want any distractions. They don't want any problems for their money coming in. That's what it is. They don't want any problems when they should be caring about an innocent young woman that's out there somewhere being taken, being sex trafficked, God knows what. And they're not willing to do what they need to do. They're doing the bare minimum. And I'm sorry, it's just full of corruption. Something doesn't seem right, okay? Something doesn't seem right at all. This whole case, this whole situation, and they're trying to have this case closed. It should not be closed. It should be continued to open, and we need to continue to investigate. But in order to Mr. Ward do that, he needs to get the parents' permission. So I'm hoping and praying that they can convince the parents, listen, your daughter did not drown, okay? She is still alive somewhere. We need your help, by your permission, to investigate this. And I hope that they can be stern and convince the parents, let Mr. Ward take over this case. Because he solved many cases, okay, with Natalie Hollowell and any other cases that he was involved with. He solved them, okay? This man is no joke, okay? This man is serious and he means business. And I believe that he can find Konanki. He can. And he even said that he can even start a GoFundMe and raise $20,000. You understand? $20,000. And I'm all for it. I'm willing to pitch in and give whatever I can to start this GoFundMe and to do something about this, because this is very unsettling for me. You know what I mean? Like, I have 4 nieces that's very young, and I can't even imagine one of my 4 nieces is going on a spring break vacation and then missing, and then I just like declare them dead. Hell no, absolutely not. I will fight tooth and nail. I will get every investigator, especially Mr. Ward, to find my nieces, to find my child, wherever it takes. And that's what the parents need to do. And I believe the parents were coerced. I believe whoever told them, they told them something to convince them to tell them that their child is dead, that their child drowned, when it's absolutely false. Okay, the body has not been resurfaced. No animals have taken pieces of her body. Okay, so it's all a setup and a power play because they don't want the media to get involved with this. They don't want this big spectacle of this whole missing college student from Virginia. They don't want it. They don't want it, and they know exactly what they're doing. But we're not going to rest. We're not going to rest until Konanki is found, okay? And they want this story to go away. This story will not go away, ever, okay? Until we found her body, until she is pronounced dead, but clearly she is not dead. Every fiber of my being, you guys, are telling me that she's still alive. and I'm going to go with my gut instincts. And I know that you guys agree with me as well. She is still alive. Until they found her body or pronounced her dead, the girl is still alive out there somewhere. And we have to do whatever we need to do to get this investigating started. Okay, like Mr. Ward told me after he hung up the phone with me, he reached out to Donald Trump. He reached out to Homeland Security. Like, people are on it. Okay, but in order for him to take action and take on this case, he needs the parents' permission to do so. And I hope and pray that the parents would give um, Dr. Mr. Warren permission to do this. And I hope they're listening. I hope, the family members or anyone that's around Konanki's family will support this and have them change their mind. Go with their gut. I know they're hurting. I know they've been through a lot, but if they can just find it in their heart and see and feel that their daughter is still alive, then do it. Go for force in this investigation. It is super important. You have no idea that your daughter is out there somewhere fighting for her life to get back home, and just to feel that everyone gave up on her. Well, no one didn't give up on her. I did not give up on her. I'm continuing to pray. Everyone is continuing to pray and hoping that she's alive and that she will be back in the United States. No one's not talking about it as far as her friends, nothing. And it's very sad. It's very sad and fathomable to me. And then one more thing before I talk about the next subject, the wiring transfer that everyone's talking about with Joshua, with the 50K or 60K. Now, listen, I understand that you have to retain a lawyer, but that much money to retain a lawyer to represent you, that's a lot of money. 50K that his parents had to come up with. Now, is it possible that half the money was for the attorney and half of it is for the Dominican Republic, the authorities, to make things go away for Joshua? It's a possibility. It is. You know what I mean? Maybe they worked a deal like, hey, if I give you this amount of money, can you make this go away? Can you just let me go? It could be a possibility. Do I have proof of that? No. It's just a theory that I'm thinking of. I have no proof, no evidence of that, but it's just a theory. Because 50K to retain a lawyer is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a lawyer. Usually you get like a small fraction fee. I don't know these days. Maybe lawyers are just that expensive. I don't know. But 50K is a lot of money to wire for attorney fee. I believe some of it was for the attorney, and I believe some of it was for the police authorities or the government or whoever to work a deal with Joshua. That's what I believe. That is my theory. Again, I have no proof of it, but I do know that there was wire transfer to the attorney. But I will definitely keep you updated on that. Moving on. Now, Marvin Sapp. Okay. Now, I love Marvin Sapp. He's a gospel singer, and I loved his music. But when I heard about this, you guys, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is insane. This is not possible that he contained his his congregation for 40K. Like, really? Like, this is just crazy, and it's just unbelievable to me that he would do that as a pastor. And I didn't even know he was a pastor. But my thing is, this is what turned people off to go to church. Because you have pastors like him, pastors like other people who just telling people, you got to give, you got to give, you got to do tithing. To be fair, tithing is important. Tithing is good to give. It's good to give back 10% of your earning. If you can give 10%, if you can't give 10%, you give something better than nothing, because God give us so much in our lives. But my thing is, by pressuring the congregations, the congregations, to pressure them to give $20 each of them, because there was a thousand of them, a thousand congregants, in the church, and then he wanted $20 each of these person, and then he told the ushers to lock the doors. Like, you lock the doors? What are you, insane? You're gonna have them hostage? And if they don't give it, what's going to happen? Like, you can't do that. You can't just force someone to give tithing or give their money, especially 40K. Like, what are you going to do with that 40K? Is it to pay your bills, your dad, or are you in bankrupt? Like, what is it? It doesn't make any sense to me. And to have the usher close the door. Listen, if I was that church, I would have told the usher, stand back. If you don't stand back, I'm going to call 911 because you're holding me against my will. I don't want to be forced or pressured to do tithing or give $20 because some pastor is telling me so. That's not how it is in church, okay? And for him to do that is just ludicrous and crazy. And I'm like, man, is this really true? And until I watched the video, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just insane. He actually told the ushers to close the doors. And no one's not leaving until they donate $20. And I'm like, this man is insane. Insane. I'm like, how can you do that? Like, that's not what the Lord wants you to do, to force people. And I'm telling you, that's what turned people off for going to church. And before I share this video, I just want to tell you a brief story. I remember one time I went to this church in New York, and I was trying to find a church, trying to find a home base, because every church I went to, I was like, not for me, not for me. And at every church that I go to, all they were talking about was tithing, tithing, tithing. They were not giving the word. They were not giving the meat in the Bible. All it was about was this money, 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 give, 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 which is important. But it's not all about tithing all the time. Sometimes people just want to read the word and get the meat from the Bible, especially when we're going through some trials and tribulations. We all know that tithing is important. We all know that giving 10% is super important if you can give 10%. But if you can't give 10% and you give something, it's better than nothing. But just to feel pressure and just being lectured that you have to do this, you have to do that, it turned me off. It turned me off. I didn't go back, okay? Because that's not what church is all about. Church is all about just giving praise and worship and reading the scriptures and learning about the Lord and learning about what he says in the Bible, and also tithing. So it's all combined in one, if that makes sense. It's not one thing is good and then the rest you just skip. Like, you just give your tithing and then you don't know about the Bible. It doesn't work that way. It's all combined in one. It make what I'm trying to say is that it combines. It works together, if that makes sense. And for him to do that is just really outrage and really ridiculous. And I want to share this video with you because it's just so disgusting to me. So here we go.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. Need to give $20. This is easy, saints.
Okay. This is ridiculous. Okay, $1,020, and there's 1,000 people there at the church. Okay, so let me do the math because I'm not good with math. So 1,000 of the members at the church and $20. That is $20,000. Okay, and he needs 40K. 40K. Why he needs 40K for? And then he's demanding that people have to go up there and give the money because he needs to see. Like, this is just ridiculous. That's not what church should be about. He shouldn't be doing that. He is wrong, and I'm going to say it. He is wrong for doing that, and he should have not do that. He should not pressure people to give $20, especially you don't even know people's finances. You don't know what they're going through. If they can give, they can give. Whether it's $20, $10, $15, $5, it doesn't matter. The Lord will be happy if you give $1, okay? $1, because he is pleased that you gave something better than nothing. But for him to pressurize and pressure these people, $20 for 40 to earn 40K. 40K for what? He's sweating so much, he's just desperate for money. Look, you see the shirt? Oh, sweat up. Disgusting. He's disgusting. He should be ashamed of himself. And he should apologize. Telling the usher to close the doors. No one can't leave until he get his $20,000. Boy, bye. If that was me, I'd say, let me go. I'm not giving a dime. That's what I would have said. I wouldn't give a dime. Okay? And if they're holding me against my will, 911, what is your emergency? I'm held against my will because this pastor is forcing me to give money and the congregants money too. Okay? And I don't have it. That's what I would have said. Because no one's not going to force me to do something that I don't want to do. If I want to tithe and give money back, then I want to do it on my free will. I don't think it should be forced or pressured by anyone. And this is why people don't like going to church, because things like that, things that you see, is a turnoff. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't. I'm disgusted by this. And he should be too. Okay? It just doesn't make any sense, you guys. It really don't. I'm definitely going to pray for him. You know, the Lord don't like that. The Lord don't like people to be forced to do something that they don't want to do. Everyone has free will. That's what God gives us. Free will to make a decision what's best for us. And if people want to tithe, let them tithe. And if they don't make them feel embarrassed or ashamed because they don't give. That's not what church is all about. Church is about, you know, praising the Lord, being there and being present and thanking God each and every day for your family, for your job, for your health, your roof over your head, food in your mouth, etc. Okay? And also giving tithing too. But that's not what the main base is about, just tithing. And the real question is, you guys, why does he need that money? Why does he need that 40K? Why that high number? This is why people don't like going to church, because bishops like this or pastors, it's robbery. It's robbery. And he's going to pocket all that money in his pocket. What he's going to use it for? Is he going to use it to build a building? Is he using it for, I don't know. What is it? And that's why people are just so against giving money to the church, because we don't know that, excuse me, let me rephrase that. People don't know where the money's going to, because they think it's going to their pockets to buy a car, for their house, the debt that they owe. We don't know. And that's not fair for people who work hard for their money, that's giving back to the Lord, when you have pastors like him, Pastor Snap, just using it for God knows what. And pressuring people is utterly disgusting. Disgusting. And that's all I have to say about that, you guys. Let me know your comments and your thoughts about this. And what do you think about this? This is just ridiculous. Ridiculous what he's doing. And he should be ashamed of himself. He should get down on his knees and ask the Lord for forgiveness. And the people in that church saying that he is sorry. And the money that he did collect, give it back or do something good for it. Do not spend it on yourself, because God is watching, okay? Whether we know what he's using that money for, God knows, okay? And he thinks he's going to run or hide from God. You cannot. You can hide from people. You can lie to people, but you cannot lie to God. And when things are in the dark, things come to the light, okay? When you lie and cheat and steal from people, God is going to make it known to other people. And he's going to let other people see your true colors, Pastor Snap. So my suggestions to you is tell the truth. Do not lie, because God sees all. He hears all. Wait on me and I will come. Don't seek revenge. The revenge is all his. Okay? So, with that being said, I hope he gives the money back. I hope he's honest. I hope he apologizes for forcing the usher to close the doors and not letting those people out until they give some type of donation. That's just completely wrong, and that's not what church is all about. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching That's It with Cheryl. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you subscribing, liking this video, and commenting. I really love you all and appreciate you all. And let me know your thoughts about what I just discussed. Thank you so much for watching That's It, and I see you guys next time. Bye.